I got a test of the broadcast system. It's funny because I turned it off and it came back on. Let's see. It's dark in here. It's 9:28 now. It was a minute or two ago. My Walmart family mobile phone locked up. This one. My Spectrum phone, I hardly ever answer this one anymore because I was getting like 200 calls from Medicare every day. And a couple of the people from the final expenses, you'll see on here, that one guy, I tell my story every time I would actually answer. And I finally quit because I figured out somebody was stealing some of the information that way and probably recording me and taking bits and pieces to make me look like a basket case. And I am upset at times, but I've done that and they leave this part out. I pull myself back out of the vent to show this is why I'm upset. And you would be too. You would wonder why I'm not more upset. Anyway, and then this is my oldest one. This is the one that when I created my first Gmail since I got out of incarceration, it was in 2020, and it sent a message to my aunt. It took part of it that said, I hope your babies are okay down there, about her son and his wife and the grandkids in Florida and the hurricane. And it sent from that, it said it sent it to my Gmail 2 weeks earlier, and I had just created the Gmail that day. So that's the kind of stuff I've had happen that is just a little bit unsettling. You don't even want to know the worst. But yeah, the two phones I have service on, the Walmart one is the one I'm answering the most, but it's getting full in the internal memory, so that's the problem. I need to get just one complete phone, but I'm not getting rid of these because the reason why they're so full and I have to cull here and there is I don't want to get rid of things that, in case one thing is the time log that takes whoever's being negative and abusing me out and never can hurt me again because they're going to be locked up somewhere themselves in trouble. But this one locked up while I was watching The Wise Sadhguru. So I know it's hard to apply his wisdom and be upset at the same time because he's so cool about that. And there's been so much I've gleaned from him. I love him. I love Deepak Chopra. I still consider myself Christian at the roots, but I interpret a lot differently, which doesn't make me popular. So without YouTube and some of these ways to reach out, I want to thank YouTube and the people that participate in that because it's had a life-saving impact. If I hadn't made some of these time logs in the middle, I don't think I would be alive now. I've called out for help that way. So don't y'all ever call me crazy without investigating the whole story because I'm sure they're limited what people can see just to make me look even worse and use what they want for their own case. But the thing is, if I ever get them in a courtroom, I'm going to show, why did you not? I've been saying this for 10 years. My story hasn't changed. Over 10 years, actually. Why would you only show a portion? Why would you take this and this and this and use it now, here and there, and not the whole picture? If you're not hiding crimes yourself from over 30 years ago and whatever you used that my first ex-husband lied about, which I thank him for that, and he's in jail still as far as I know. And then the other thing that my Terre Haute dad had told me was basically terrorism, which shouldn't have been what it was. I understand a trigger, a word here and there might trigger a look, but not what it was. And I'm sure they used my foreign language background in international trade and finance because where I was going before I decided to be a stay-at-home mom and, working and being a mom was, I couldn't do it. I did it sometimes for a while, but over the course of my life, I had a hard time enough. My hands were full, especially when I turned out having 3 boys that were all boy to the max. But, I didn't have a backup plan for that because I had both my ex-husbands promised to always take care of me, and I believed them. And I'm still being kept afloat because I'm on disability the way it worked out. But some of the things that I can't get, like the sewer grant, because I'm not 62. They used to give it to people on disability, but not after I applied. Everything just changes like that around me. But they're being patient. The guy that is running that now is not the same people that brought it in. I wanted it at first, but it turns out we had like a bad toilet and didn't know it, and like some tree branches. My septic works a lot better than anybody else's around here, apparently. And so it hasn't been pumped in a while, but I keep it running really well despite that. And now it's just me living here. I really don't need the sewer, but I thought in case Davey does move back and I'm going to have grandkids spend the night, maybe it would be okay to go along with it because they tried to force me into it. But then when I tried, I've been working on the paperwork for 2 years now. They finally stopped putting the liens on my house, but it jacked my house payment up for a while to where I almost couldn't afford it. Sometimes I had to pay $700 because of that. There for a while, that freaked me out. They did readjust it because I said, he stopped those liens. You don't have to project that my escrow is going to be that much. I only make $914 on my disability plus food stamp. But this is not the path I planned. I didn't plan to be somebody milking the system. I had a lot of talent. I still could do some things with my music. But as long as there's someone that's tampering in my business and blaming it on my imagination, I can never even attempt to work a job. And what they do to me every time I try, they sucker punch me back down. I am damaged by that. So it might look like, I mean, I do have a lot of intelligence. I still have my intelligence and I have my memories, but they really have retarded me. When I say that, I'm not insulting retarded people. It's like the N word. I can say it because I am one, because of what they have done to me. It has slowed me down greatly. It takes me 3 times as long to do things I used to do, but I'm not impaired to the extent that if I sit down in any certain moment, I can function in that level, especially with someone I trust, but not with the people that are taunting me, making threats through the grapevine. That's a very real danger, not me, and you need to check them out, whoever's trying to keep me the quietest, please. And thank you. But it's got to be someone I trust, because a stranger that just hears a part of my story, it's going to sound weird to them. And that's what happened. People are just kind of writing me off. Some of the people that took time to listen, I think they could tell something was going on, but their hands were tied in red tape. Why would that be? Why wouldn't they just allow me to tell my story? So I'm sober again now, and that probably scares the crap out of them. I'm moving forward in leaps and bounds. But by the way, in case they said, I was never in any obligation, like from going back and those other things that weren't even my sins. I wasn't under any obligation not to drink. I can't break what I don't know about if someone else forged it. So if they put anything like that in there and didn't tell me, then you know something's up if they're telling you that. I don't normally drink, so that was probably alarming. But that's what I was just self-medicating, and it was my right to do so because I didn't go do bad things with it. I didn't drive.